Hello, I am now live. Hi everyone, I'm Grace. Give me a second. I'm having some tech issues, so hopefully everything is working now. But I'm excited tonight. I'm going to talk about Spirit School, which is my psychic development workshop, which is now open for enrollment. And so I want to get into what that class entails and a little bit about why I created the class, what the class is about, what you do in the class, and all the kind of details and logistics. So I'm going to be saving this video so you can go back and watch it later if you missed this or if you need to leave. But yeah, let's get into it. I'm excited. I haven't done a live in a while. I was looking at my page to see like the last time I went live, which was in August. So it's been a while. And last year I was doing a lot of live meditations. I missed that. So I'm excited to be live tonight. We're just gonna be talking more informational, and then I'm gonna be talking about my experience creating the class. But I wanted to let people know who watch this live, that I'm going to be doing another live meditation challenge this month, which is one of my favorite things to do. And the last one I did, I had so many tech issues that it was not much of a challenge. It was supposed to be 5 days, and then it ended up being 2. And I lost a bunch of videos. So that kind of like frustrated me. And I was like, oh, I can't do this. But I'm really feeling the energy. I'm really feeling the desire to do that. So that is going to be a 7-day meditation challenge with me here on Instagram Live. It starts October 18th, so not next week, but the week after. And I'll be posting about that later, but I just wanted to let people know, give them a heads up. And that's one of my favorite things to do. But my favorite class to teach is Spirit School, which is now open for enrollment. I'm going to flip the camera a little bit and show you guys my website so you can see where you can sign up for the class. But before we do that, I want to talk about what this class is. So Spirit School is my psychic development workshop. So I'm Grace. If you've never seen me before, or if you're new, I'm Grace Lannon. That's me. I am a psychic medium and an energy healer and many other things. But I created this class as a way for me to share like kind of all my skills and my knowledge that I've accrued over my own spiritual and psychic development journey, which I'm still on. And so there's always kind of like growth and things that I learned through teaching this class. So that's one of the reasons that I love to do it so much. So I wanted to kind of just share what is in the class, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about why I love teaching this class. So Spirit School is a multi media experience. I don't know how to explain it. So there's live classes, and then there is also online learning modules. So self-paced work that you do on your own within the class and after the class. So I created this class last year. When I first launched it, it was 4 weeks. And I quickly realized, okay, there's not enough time here for me to share all the information I want to share. So then it became 8 weeks. And the first group that I did it with, most of them signed up for the second part, and we did 4 weeks, and then we did another 4 weeks. So that was really cool. And when I experienced that the first time I taught the class, I realized, okay, I want to make this an 8-week class. So then the next time I taught the class, it was an 8-week class. Actually, no, the next time I taught it, it was a 6-week class. I don't know why I did that. I was like, oh, okay, if I do 6 weeks, then I can probably get all that information in there. Wasn't long enough, so I realized I wanted to do 8 weeks. So then I taught an 8-week class, and last time I taught it, I realized that there's still more material that I want to share. And so what I have done now is it will be 8 live classes where we meet on Zoom, and then you will get 12 modules of self-study material. So how I originally created it, it was kind of like weeks of material. So you get a homework like packet at the beginning of each week during the live class. And I realized that it was just too much for a week. There's no way that people could have done that much work, but also it's kind of my intention was that I put this out there and then people can kind of decide what they want to do. and what resonates with them. But I realized I kind of want to reframe that and reapproach it. So the modules are going to be more like a month of material for you to work on at home and on your own. And you can do that within the 8 weeks of class. But how I suggest people would do it is the 8 weeks of live classes are kind of like prep for you to clear all this stuff out. You get to practice, you get to connect, you get to ask questions. And then you have all this material, 12 modules, which is like 12 months. What is that? A year. A literal year of material for you to dive into. And so with the psychic development work, it's kind of like, okay, you can do an exercise one time and maybe it was interesting and you learned something, but you're really going to receive the most benefit if you continue to practice. So that's why something like mediumship or psychic work is called a practice, because you need to continue to do the work. And so now I restructured the class so that people will receive the modules alongside the live classes. And I'll explain this all when people sign up, but my intention would be you'll have one homework assignment during the week, you'll do the live classes, and then you'll have all the 12 modules to dive into after class ends. And so you can continue your development journey. So within the self-study modules, I'll explain to you what is within there, but I'm really excited about the way that this is going to be formatted, because I feel like the amount of stuff that you can really learn and explore is endless. And so I wanted it to be something so that people can continue to dive in, and it will go like, it will go in an order that makes sense. So I'm going to go over the material and I'm really excited. But I think this is going to make more sense and I think it's going to be beneficial. So the 8 classes are live on Zoom, and that's going to be starting in November. So November 4th. And that is going to be on Zoom at 6:30 p.m. PST. So all those modules, all the live classes will be recorded, and then all the module work you'll be able to keep for as long as technology allows. So in the live classes, what do we do? So I am a Reiki teacher and a Reiki healer. So the classes are going to include an energy clearing, a group energy clearing. So we spend about the last half of class doing that. The first half of class, we're going to present like different subjects. So I'm going to go over what the material is in a second, but basically I present a subject that we're going to be working on throughout the week during your homework assignment, your meditation homework assignments. And we're going to do like a practice exercise together. So some of the work is psychic development practice. Some of it is more connecting with mediumship and like intuitive channeling. So the first, let's see, I'm like really bad at math. I'm like literally counting. So the first 5 weeks, that's so funny. The first 5 weeks of class, we'll be doing a group exercise for about a half an hour, and then we'll go into a Reiki healing ceremony for the group. So we do a clearing, we listen to music, we do a meditation as a group. So my intention is that we're like clearing fear, doubt, shame, any of these like sticky emotions that are stuck with us that make us feel like we are not intuitive, that we shouldn't connect, we don't know how to connect, like letting all that go. So the Reiki, the intention of that is to be working with the person's energy body, working with them to really like prime them for the information that they're going to be diving over into in their self-study work. So we'll do a practice exercise as a group. And then the last 3 weeks of class, we're going to practice giving and receiving readings. So we're going to practice mediumship. We're going to practice like doing a card reading. and we're going to practice like doing an aura, like an energy reading. So everyone in the class will be able to practice both giving a reading and receiving readings. So those last 3 weeks of class, we might not do the Reiki ceremony depending on how long the practice readings go for, but each live class will be 1 hour. And again, those are going to be recorded. And so if people can't come live, they can watch the recording, they can go through the meditation, they can go through the practices. I very much encourage if people can come live, especially in the last 3 weeks when you're giving and receiving readings. You're not going to be able to do that practice on your own. I really like, it is my hope, and I have seen that people in the class will kind of like get to know each other, and maybe you guys can practice on each other outside of class doing readings, or like practicing intuitive exercises together. So maybe you will get to do that on your own, but if you miss those last 3 weeks, that kind of sucks. So it would be imperative that you could come live. But again, if you can't come live, if you're in a different time zone, the class is still, I think, worthwhile to take. You'll receive all the live classes. You'll be able to practice all the exercises, etc. You'll receive the healing, and then you'll get all the other material. So it is worth taking if you can't come live, but the live classes are the best part, the most exciting part. So we will meet on Tuesday starting on November 4th at 6:30 p.m. PST, so Pacific Standard Time. Let me just pull up the calendar because there are a few dates that we're not meeting. So it's going to go from November through January, just with the holidays and stuff. Give me a second. So, yeah, it starts November 4th and it will go through January 6th, 2022, January 6th. That'll be an interesting day. But we're not going to meet on November 25th or December 23rd, just right around those holidays. So we'll skip those Thursdays, and that's why it's going to go through all the way through January. So I think that's going to be a really exciting time, like ending out the year, setting these intentions, clearing this energy out, and really stepping forward into your gifts and being able to dive into yourself deeper. So this class is for people who are interested in psychic development, intuitive development, energy healing, anyone who is already practicing spiritual work, like maybe you read tarot, or maybe you or into astrology, or you do Reiki already. This class will be really complimentary to help you develop your psychic senses, which I think if anyone is doing any kind of reading, I think it can be really helpful to have like those extra skills to be able to help your clients and be able to help yourself. But this class is also designed for people who are not doing this work professionally, or even interested in doing it professionally. Becoming an intuitive, connecting with everyone's intuitive, but becoming an intuitive or connecting with their psychic skills, developing that part of yourself, connecting with mediumship, developing a connection with your guides, your spirits, your angels, that can be beneficial for anyone, and it can be really healing. So it's not specifically only for people who are already like working intuitives. So the class can be for anyone at all levels of experience. So this can be something, if you're already doing this work, you want to dive into some other aspects, or you want to learn more about yourself, or you want to receive the healing, you could sign up for the class. This also could be for people who don't know much about like spiritual development, psychic development. This class is kind of really like a mishmash, an amalgamation of basically all the stuff that I have learned throughout my own spiritual and psychic development journey. So yeah, I am a working psychic medium and energy healer. So I do one-on-one sessions, I do classes, I do all sorts of stuff. And this class is really me showing you all the skills that I have learned and talking about different subjects that I found interesting and helpful, and really giving you some tools and some skills that you can continue to work with to develop on your own. So when kind of working with your psychic skills, it's not like an overnight thing. And so that's why I decided to kind of reformat it into 12 months of material and the 8 weeks. So the 8 weeks, like I said, just kind of like a clearing out period, a nesting, a letting go, a shedding, which is really like in tune with the fall, the season that we're in right now, going into winter, and then starting off that new year with all that material, all that knowledge that you want to seek. And so I think it's going to be the perfect time for this class. So let's talk about what is actually included in the modules. So there's a ton of guided meditations. There's a bunch of sound healings and breathwork video lessons. So those are all things that you're participating in. You're doing the meditation and you're listening to what I'm saying and you're going through it, but you're the one receiving all the information. You're participating, you're practicing, and you're developing that skill. So I have a bunch of meditations, and then the sound healings you're receiving, you're clearing stuff out. So I use Reiki and sound healing. And then I have video and audio lessons. So that is more like lecture style, going into different topics and explaining different topics so that you can understand your experiences, get kind of a framework for spiritual realms and things like that, more like esoteric topics. So that is something that you can watch. You're going to take notes. You're going to like listen. You're going to receive. So that is more like a mind type of thing. And the other exercises are more about connecting with the spirit and with the energy. Then we have some more like mind release work through different journal prompts. So I have a journal prompts for each module where you kind of diving into the different subjects, how you feel about them, releasing fear, releasing shame, like releasing all this stuff and these stories and preconceived notions we have about what it is to be intuitive, what it is to be psychic, any stories or negative experiences that you might have had in the past connecting with meditation or with spiritual development, kind of like letting all that shit go. The journaling exercises. We also work with affirmations. So there's different affirmations that I give you. And I have like a lesson about the affirmations, how to work with them and how to work with the journaling exercises. So kind of explaining that to you. And then we have a little bit more of a body experience. So we have some tapping exercises and some other stuff where we're kind of like embodying and getting into the present moment. And so I want to walk you through what the modules are about. So here, can I flip the camera? Yeah, let me flip the camera. So this is my website, gracelinden.com. And this tab at the top, Spirit School, is where we are, and this has all the information about the class, and then you can sign up here directly, etc. But we'll look at the modules in a second. I also want to show you, this is the website. It's called Padlet, and this is where all the, you can't really see that well, this is where all the class material is stored. So you'll receive links to these different modules. And just so you can kind of like get an idea of what it looks like, you'll receive audio files, like PDFs, so you can print these out. These are like the journal prompts, and all the written assignments will be here. And there's videos and things like that. So they're all like stored in this little website. So this is something that you can access from your computer. So you get the links, you'll get the 12 module links. And then you can also download it as an app. So that I love, especially for, hold on, let me turn myself around. This is my office, by the way. I just like remodeled it. I made this, let's just show you because I'm excited about it. I made this really cool backdrop for myself. I painted that with some cool energy vibes. And yeah, this is my office. We are propped up on some tarot cards, and we have my guardian angel candle burning. I also bought these. Well, they're supposed to be Halloween, but they're more like Dios de la Muertes sparkling water. There's my cat. I bought this pink chair, and now she'll sit and chill with us. But anyway, I got distracted. So what I was about to say is, with Padlet, so that's the site that hosts all the modules, the self-study modules. You can access that on your browser, but you can also download the app, which is free. And I love that for the meditation. So if I'm going on a walk or something like that, or if I want to listen to like before bed or something on my phone, it's there, which is really cool. The other thing that's cool about Padlet, not sponsored, please sponsor me. It's only $10 a month actually, so that's pretty cool. But what I was gonna say is the other cool thing is that you can download things on there. So if you're going somewhere like a hike or something where you want to listen to your meditation, or going camping and you want to bring like a breathwork practice with you, you can download them so they're accessible when you don't have like cell service or Wi-Fi. So I think that's really cool, especially for the meditations. So let's look a little bit at the syllabus. So again, this is all on my website, which is link in my bio. It's just my name, gracelennon.com. I just remodeled it, so I'm very proud and excited about it. I was literally crying on stories yesterday, if you didn't see that, about how proud I am of my little Squarespace website. But it looks really cute, and my workshops and things are on there as well. So meditation classes and things that I teach are now going to be all on there. Instead of having to do DMs on stuff, it's going to be right there. So that's very exciting. But again, so the Spirit School tab's on there and you can look at all this material. So the syllabus, my intention is we're going to work through kind of like the layers of our bodies, of our energy. So the first module is called Enter the Body. So this is all about grounding, learning to be inside the body, learning to release any fears and things that are connected to feeling safe and feeling grounded. So a lot of that root chakra energy. If we're going to go up into these spiritual realms, we need to be grounded in our physical existence as well as in our day-to-day life. If we're going to be opening up spiritually, opening up psychically more and more, you're going to be connecting with higher and higher vibrations. And it's very not only helpful, but absolutely imperative and essential for you to learn to ground yourself. So in that module, I have a breathwork exercise. We have some journal prompts. I have a video lesson, and I have affirmations. And in the first module, there's also kind of like a welcome video for me to kind of explain how to get the most out of the class and things like that. So there's an introductory video as well. So then module 2 is about entering the emotion. So this is a lot about feeling connected to your sense of feeling. So this is where we start talking about the psychic senses, and we talk about clairsentience, which is psychic feeling. So if people might identify as an empath, what that basically means is that you're able to psychically feel emotions, and sometimes that can be physical feelings in the body, sometimes that can be emotions. So it's learning kind of how to differentiate between what is mine, what is theirs, so that you can develop that skill and be able to use it as a positive thing in a reading or for yourself to gain information, rather than an intense thing that makes it hard to be around people and you have anxiety all the time and things like that. Because that was my experience. Sometimes still is if I'm ungrounded and I'm disconnected. So in that module, we talk about the clairsentience. There's a breathwork exercise, there's a meditation, and then there's a video lesson. So each module you'll receive a video lesson a exercise, so either a breath work or a meditation. You get a journal exercise. You get a affirmation as well to work with. So each module has about like 3 to 7 lessons within it. So some of them are more extensive than others. So then we go into module 3, which is entering the heart. So this is all about opening up like our psychic knowing. So claircognizance, you might have think of this like in our brain, but this is really dropping into our higher heart where we can like just know things, we can trust things, we can feel into our heart and what we want and what we desire. And so in this, again, you get a breath work, you get different exercises to work with. Then we go into entering the spirit. So this is where we start to talk about like the energy body. So we talk about the chakras. So there's like a video lesson kind of explaining what chakras are and how to work with them. Or it might be audio, I forget. But there's a lesson where we talk about chakras, what they are, how to work with them, what is energy healing, what is the energy body. And there are also 7. So this is why it's a year's worth of material. So there are 7 sound healings that are connected to clearing out the chakra system. So we start at the root and then we end at the crown. So within those sound clearings, they're all about like 20 to 30 minutes. It starts out with a breathwork exercise, and then we go into working with affirmations, connecting and clearing stuff out with our words. And then it goes into a sound healing. So it's just kind of like a meditative experience that you can receive. My idea would be that if someone was in module 4, they would start at the beginning of the month and do a one of the audios like each day so that they can really work through them and kind of be able to see how their energy is moving and how it's working. So that is module 4. Then we go into module 5, which is entering the mind. So this is a lot about like, again, clearing up those fears and those doubts, those blocks, those stories that we tell ourselves about like why we can't do this or how we are unsafe to connect spiritually, or any kind of like imposter syndrome, like I'm not doing this right. That's when we kind of working on clearing that out. Then we go further into the energy in module 6. In module 6, we're talking more about like the aura and the different like energy bodies. So we kind of practice aura reading. Each week there's going to be, again, in the live classes, there's going to be like a practice exercise that kind of goes along with the theme of the modules that we're working through. So then we go into module 7, and this is where we enter the helpers. So this is all about connecting with our spirit guides. So I have some meditation centered around this and some videos and some journal practices. And this is all about developing that connection with our spirit guide and how we can do that as individuals. So everyone has a spirit guide, whether you're conscious of them or not. Some people have more than one. Most people have more than one. And some people have one now and then they leave and then they get another one. Everyone has their own individual experience. So in the class, it's really kind of about like clearing out the body, getting comfortable, grounded, then getting to the point where we can open up more to start to see into those spiritual realms. So what do we want when we start to see into the spiritual realms? We want guidance. We want someone to hold our hand. We want someone to help us be there. So yes, I can be that as the teacher, but there's also a spirit teacher that is there to help you, not only in this class, but throughout your life. So this module is a lot about like learning about spirit guides and some different exercises. Then module 8, we talk about it's enter the angels. So we talk about angels, angelic healing, working with the archangels, what that means, how we can do that. So there's meditations. So this class is a lot about meditation. And I give people a lot of different kinds of meditations because I know not everyone meditates the same way or receives the same way or even enjoys the same type of meditation. So I give us a bunch of different kind of varieties for you to see what works best for you. So and I also encourage people, whether they're in this class or not, any kind of meditation that you're listening to, if you feel like you can't be still, like it's hard for you to be still, you could do this meditation while you're moving or while you're stretching, while you're doing yoga, while you're walking, while you're drawing. Like you could listen to it and be doing something else. Even your dishes, like if you're getting your breath into that relaxed pattern, you don't necessarily need to like close your eyes and be in this like Zen space if that is not going to work for you. So finding a way that works for you to meditate. So meditation is basically just getting into a different frame of mind, a different like brain wave state where we're more relaxed. We're more in our parasympathetic state, so we're more relaxed. And so the different meditations that I provide are meant for people to kind of explore themselves again and again and again. So in this practice, I introduce the angels, and I do that through a meditation. Then I do some more like lecture style stuff about them. I love working with the angels, and it's been really healing for me. So this was kind of like the first thing that I wanted to share. But I think there's so much like kind of prep work to get us to the point where we're ready for that. Not because it's hard or difficult, but just because like there's other stuff that's more important, like our human life, our day-to-day life, before we can get to that state where we're going to start exploring other things. So then in module 9, we enter the other side. So we start talking about mediumship. So we start talking about communicating with spirits that were once human, other guides and beings, and being able to communicate with them. So we talk about the clear senses a little bit earlier in the class, but we use basically those senses for us to develop our mediumship. So for us to be able to tune into what the spirit realm is telling us, how we are receiving, we develop those senses first, and then we can use that and other practices and different exercises I lay out for people to develop that connection. So in that we can talk about like connecting with ancestors or like loved ones that were like once with us, but we could also do mediumship to connect with like aspects of ourselves. So I'll get more into that but in the class, but just a little thought. You can use mediumship to connect with aspects of yourself through the Akashic records. So it gets a little complicated, but that's what we get into a little bit later in the class. So in module 10, we talk about entering the soul. So this is a lot talking about like different layers of our soul and our spirit. So again, like going into higher realms of existence to remember like who we are, why we are here, that like soul memory is what I call that. So we do a little bit of stuff about soul retrieval in that module. And what that is, in a very quick explanation, is sometimes when things happen to us, we release a part of our soul. And through soul retrieval, we're able to claim and call that aspect of ourself back to ourself. And this can be done in a session with a shaman or something like that. But you can also do a soul retrieval for yourself through basically an astral meditation experience. So I have like a journey that I take people through to do that kind of work in module 10. So for example, say you got into a car accident when you were 12 years old and like you didn't get hurt or anything like that, but the car got totaled and it was like very scary and you were freaked out, like a part of yourself, like a little aspect of your 12-year-old self, like kind of exited your body in that day and might be just like floating around in astral space. And so if we're able to call that back to ourselves, then we can do like some healing for ourselves in the now moment. So that gets a little bit more advanced. So that's why it's kind of a little bit later in the class. Then module 11, we entered the memory. So this is getting more into those astral spaces. So we talk about connecting with past lives, connecting with future parallel lives, Akashic records, stuff like that. And so again, each module has a practice type of thing that you're doing on your own. So a breathwork or a meditation, and then there's a video lesson or an audio lesson, something for you to learn, lecture style, digest. Then there's journaling and affirmation. So again, that is something that you're going to be doing on your own to be able to explore what you're learning. And so, yeah, we talk about the Akashic records and past lives and kind of being able to enter those spaces of our mind and our memory to bring healing for ourselves in the now moment. And so this is something that can be helpful, but it's also just cool and exciting. But it's very, I would say it's interesting. But what we want to gain out of like a past life experience or learning about that kind of work is to be able to understand ourselves in this life and how we can, be a better version of ourselves, or how we can release something, how we can let something go, how we can move forward and be human and have those experiences. So opening up this type of work is very exciting, but what we focus on is keeping it so that it is relevant for us. So just keeping that in mind. Then our last module 12 is called Enter the Cosmos, and this is where we get really weird when we talk about aliens and connecting with star beings and activating our star memory and some very interesting kind of more out there type of spiritual work. So for me, I consider that as I am almost channeling my higher dimensional self, which is an alien essentially. So we get really weird in module 12. It's very fun, very exciting, and very healing, because there are so many aspects of ourself that are already healed or already know how to do stuff, already have the answers that we are seeking. And so when we can like tap into our higher self, we're able to kind of like release some of the what ifs or some of the stories that we tell ourselves that hold ourselves back, because we're able to really like get it now, like see that we are able to get to a point of healing and that we're like safe there and it's okay. So it's pretty cool. We go all the way into the cosmos. And so, yeah, I'm really excited. So again, so you'll receive video and audio lessons. I also there's a whole section I talk about tools and technology. So there's a couple different videos, lecture style, where I talk about like working with tools. So there's a video about working with oracle cards, there's a video about working with pendulums, and there's a video about creating a sacred space, creating an altar. So those are all kind of like at the beginning of the modules, like especially creating the sacred space, working like protecting your energy, boundaries, all of that is really in module 1 and 2. But and then there's one more. Oh, and working with crystals too. So those are some of my kind of like favorite tools. And so I talk about using a tool as a way to aid in your understanding of how you're receiving. So cards work really well for some people. They don't work as well for other people. So I kind of like give you guys some different options of things that I found helpful, as well as like creating that sacred space. So again, there's lessons on stuff about spirit guides, cosmic energy, angels, chakra energy healing, mediumship, Akashic records. So it's really like all of the things that I find most exciting and in a digestible form, in a way that I hope is helpful for people to understand themselves, to understand these more esoteric, complicated topics, make it digestible, make it possible. Everyone is psychic, and anyone can do this work, and anyone can develop their mediumship. Anyone can read the Akashic records. It is our right as human individuals in this cosmic realm. Last night, I'm taking this class right now, which I'm really excited about. That's about journeying to the upper world, and we connect with the Akashic records and that. So I think that's definitely going to inform more of the work I'm doing today. But my teacher daily had us sing like a song to open up our sacred space, and one of the lyrics is, I love myself, I will take care of myself, I am a child of the universe, being born each moment. And I just wanted to share that. But yeah, it is our right. We are a child of the universe. We are here in this life to be human. So there are, parts and aspects of ourselves that are more grounded in this reality, but we also have the ability to see through dimensions, see through realms. It's all possible. If I can do it, you can do it too. And that's really a lot about what this class is. So there's different types of meditations. I do energetic clearing meditations. There are more like a yoga nidra body scan, internal body type of meditation. So not like a visualization, more of just a present moment type of meditation, mindfulness. Then I have a bunch of journey meditations. So in that, it's like a visualization. We take you into astral spaces and astral realms through the meditation. So there's meet your spirit guide meditation, ancestral connection journey meditation, the Holy Phoenix sound journey, which is badass, all about like rebirthing yourself. The inner ear sound journey, which is all about clearing out our inner ear so that we can hear ourself more clearly, and as well as develop our clairaudience, psychic hearing, and inner knowing. Then there's a journey to the Akashic records meditation. So that takes you into the space. So that is kind of like showing you how you could access it. And then I also, again, lecture about that. So I give you some different tools. Again, I mentioned this before, but there are the chakra clearing meditations. So there's 7 of those. And those I really love because it includes breath work, affirmations, and the sound healing. So it's kind of like a big 1, 2, or that was 3, but 1, 2, 3 punch. And then I also have activation meditations. So those are a little bit towards the end, activating different aspects of our memory, activating our star memory, our water memory, these like past or parallel versions of ourselves, so that we're, able to access some of those more advanced psychic spaces. So those are really cool. I'm excited about that. There is one that I have had several people tell me they have to poop like right after, so it's good. And then I have journal prompts and then intuitive development exercises. So those are really cool. Those are kind of like the practice exercises we have in class, but they're more for you to continue to work on your own. So it's like a video, and then you'll practice with me. So there's one about connecting with our clear senses. So there's a different video for each sense. There's a mediumship practice video, and then there's a soul memory and cosmic energy practice video. So practicing accessing those higher dimensional realms of the Akashic records. So if this sounds like a lot to you, it is. That's why it's now literally a whole year worth of material. And my intention is for people to see through this class what their psychic skills are, how they can apply them in their life and how they can learn about themselves, how powerful they are, receive healing, release fears, and all this bullshit that is attached to like seeing or hearing or feeling or knowing more than the average person, which literally everyone can do this. That's why I teach this class. But most people are numb or most people are distracted. And so this class is about dropping the fuck in. So that can be hard. And that's why I kind of like walk you through it, starting with the body, starting with grounding, and then going all the way up into the cosmos and the Akashic records and mediumship and all those fun, exciting stuff. But we really got to start with the basics before we get there. The live classes, again, we'll kind of go along those themes. So we'll be practicing together. And then in the last 3 weeks, you get to practice a little bit more giving and receiving readings. So that's going to be very fun. Yeah, again, no experience necessary. So if you're like, oh my God, I could never do a reading. Yes, you could. So many people do all the time that I've worked with. So it's totally possible, and things, the energy healing part of it and that component of my work, it's like an activation. So you're going to start the class one person and you'll end a different person. And the more that you devote yourself to exploring, practicing, the more that you'll see results. So some people might take the class and they might not do any of this work until 6 months later. And then they start diving in and they see how it's beneficial for them. So you can go at your own pace. That's why I wanted it to be like these self-study modules. And then the 8 weeks live are really like getting you excited, getting you prepped, getting you ready to continue your spiritual development journey. So I'm very excited. Let me see. So I'm just seeing if I forgot anything. So again, all this stuff is on my website. You can sign up directly on my website, gracelannon.com. There are payment plans available, so all that information's on there if you want to do if you want to take the class and you would like to do a payment plan. Basically, you just have to put a deposit down and then you let me know what payment plan you want to do and I set you up with an invoice. Very easy. And yeah, there's testimonies and stuff on there as well, so you can read about other people's experience who have taken this class. And I revamped it, so there is more material that's new, so that's very exciting. And yeah, I did also put on the website, there are a couple of videos that are interviews with former students. And those were from here on Instagram, so you can also access those on my IGTV. But I had 3 different videos with some students that had taken the class last year, so just talking about their experiences and like what they're working on now and stuff. So that could be very interesting to you if you are thinking about signing up for this class. So again, enrollment is open. Class starts November 4th, so November 3rd is the cutoff date. So that's like a little bit less than a month from now. There are limited spots available, so I really encourage you to sign up if you are thinking about it. I like to keep the classes smaller, especially for the practice time, and so that people can ask questions. You're going to be working on a meditation like each week between the live classes. So I love to like spend a little time hearing about people's experiences, asking them questions. Then we present a practice exercise. We practice together. Sometimes that's 1 exercise. Sometimes that's 2 or 3. Then we do a meditation and then we do a group healing. So it's a lot that happens in 60 minutes. And it's going to be freaking epic. I love teaching this class. So let's see. I only have a few minutes left. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about like why I do this class. So I created this class last year, like right at the beginning of quarantine, because I had wanted to do this class for a long time and I didn't have the time on my schedule. And when that opened up, like by the fact that I didn't work at the place I worked before anymore, I was like, oh, it's time to do this class. And I also felt like it was a great time for people to dive into themselves and have something to focus on, like other than the news. And so I did it again. It was like a 4-week class, and then it kind of exploded out of there into a literal year's worth of material. I remember I was joking with one of my teachers about how I made it now 6 weeks after it was 4 weeks. And I was like, oh, watch it become a year's worth of material. And I was like kidding, but literally now it is. So it has kind of like exploded out of there. But I think about 3 years ago, I took a like spiritual business class thing. And like part of that was like launching a program, and I had the idea for spirit school at that time, but I just like was kind of a shit show, like didn't really know how to create a program, was also still working in the spa, so I just like didn't have the time for that. But I had kind of created in my mind that I wanted to do a group class, that I wanted it to be centered around intuition and energy healing, and that I wanted to do it online. And so I had that idea for it. I kind of like created it within that class, but I never like officially launched it. But within that class at that time, I did start officially launching workshops. So I started doing Reiki workshops, like and sound healings and like moon circles and things like that. And that really helped me like dive my little toes in, because I've always really been into this magical world, but I didn't like talk about it or anything outside of like my friends and stuff. And I wanted to teach, I wanted to offer healing, I wanted to do all these things, but I didn't know how to do them. So I had this idea for spirit school, but it just wasn't time yet. Then I started working with Lauren Unger, so she was on the podcast. I'm sure you guys follow her. If you don't, you should. But I started working with her and did some coaching with her, and then I did some other classes with her, and she really helped me kind of like decide that I wanted to go into this full time. That was my intention in like 2019. I like was like, okay, I'm gonna go full time with myself. And basically when quarantine stuff happened, it kind of like launched me into being able to do that, because now I didn't have the other job, so might as well do like work with your dreams, right? So then I decided, okay, it's time to do this class that I've been wanting to do. I also had a reading with Aja, spirit guide coach, in like May of 2020. And we talked a lot about teaching and like diving more into that spiritual teacher role, and like how that is going to help me advance my gifts as well. And so then I started to kind of like see how the big picture of how I want things to go. So I taught the class a few times last year, and then once this year, twice this year. So this will be the third. No, it doesn't matter. But this will be the last class of the year of 2021. So I've gotten to teach this class a few times. Like I said a second ago, it was 4 weeks. Now it's 8 weeks and a year's worth of self-study material. And you know what I think is cool about that is, like, if you were to join a coven or something like that, like a witch circle or any kind of development circle, it's very much part of the process that you'll have about a year's worth of self-study before you could even be considered to join the coven. So I think of this as kind of like that preparatory space for anyone to join like the next part of their life, whether they decide to continue this work and do it professionally or do readings for other people. That is that will be remain to be seen. But this is really like setting people up to trust themselves, to be able to answer their own questions, and to be able to understand themselves more. So when I started really like taking this shit seriously as terms of my psychic gifts, there were so many aspects of myself that I wasn't taking care of, and that my gifts were kind of like creating like physical issues around my clairsentience. Like I was feeling so much that was making me sick. I was feeling other people days before I would even see them. I was getting like I did a mediumship reading, I remember one time, and someone's grandmother came through with arthritis, and like 3 days before that I was having like horrible pain in my wrist. So I was experiencing all these things and not really having an understanding of like what the fuck was happening. And so this class is really like to help people understand their gifts, to help people experience their gifts, to help people release stories and things associated with that, but really giving people the boundaries and the framework to work with their psychic senses. So for me, clairsentience and claircognizance are like my biggest gifts. But through teaching this class and through my own psychic development journey, I have slowly started opening up my sight and my hearing. And so it's been very exciting as I teach this class, the more and more I advance as well. So when I teach this class, I'm really taking this class too. So we're really working together. And so I wanted to create this as a place of safety, of community, of understanding. So a place where you can ask weird questions about the weird experience with aliens when you're 8 years old. You can ask me questions about the ghost that you saw as a child. Like you can ask me questions about how to create energy boundaries. There's like it's creating that space for people to get to know themselves better and to understand themselves better through psychic development and intuitive development, and creating relationships with the spirit world, which we all have. We just might not understand them, and they might feel negative or scary to us a lot of the times. If it is overwhelming, if it's so foreign or something that different than us that we can't understand. So this class is really giving you a framework to help you understand yourself better and your gifts and your spiritual understanding, your spiritual senses, the psychic senses. So yeah, I think it's going to end in a second. So that's about it. Basically what this class is, I created it for what I wanted when I first started doing this work. I wanted something where it really gave me an understanding of all these different subjects that I really wanted to learn about, that I was excited about. But it also gave me skills and like practices that I could do to understand how to do these things that I read about or hear about on YouTube. Like, how can I astral travel? How do I do that? Okay, well, we're going to talk about it. But we're also going to talk about how to be grounded and how to be a human and how to remember how to do your laundry before we get there in module 11. So it's really about creating a framework for how to live your life as an intuitive. And I have been very, very lucky to work with some amazing teachers. Lauren, my mentor Becca, so many other amazing energy healers that I've been able to receive from, and work with Sloan in her medium circle and all sorts of cool people. I've been very, very lucky to have great teachers, including Daly, who's going to be on the podcast next week, or this week on Thursday. So that's coming out. I've been very, very lucky to have exceptional teachers, ethical teachers, cool teachers, helpful teachers, legitimate teachers. And I really know that is not the case for everyone. I have had clients who have had bad experiences in the past with spiritual teachers, or maybe that it just wasn't the right vibe. They were just to this or that and you didn't connect with them. I want to be the coolest spiritual teacher, but in all seriousness, I want to be able to be reliable, be ethical, be able to talk about these esoteric magical subjects in a way that is digestible and makes you feel comfortable. So I've been very lucky to have great teachers, and I want to, be able to be that person for someone else. And I know there's so much to see and learn within this field of study. So this class is really kind of like a crash course in all the variety of things we talked about tonight. So from grounding to protection to psychic senses to spirit guides, angels, and more. So this is going to be really fun. So if you're interested in signing up, again, go to my website. Everything's there. If you have any questions, you can DM me. You can also email me, grace@gracelannon.com. That information's on my site. Also, if you're thinking about it and you want to ask questions like face to face, you're not sure, you want to feel it out, vibe it out, you can set up a 15-minute free consultation. That's again on my website. And you can ask me questions. Just make sure the class is right for you. Yeah. I'm really excited to teach this class again. It's going to be a great end of the year. That's about it. I don't know what else to say. I love this class. I love this work, and I'm just so grateful and honored to do it. And I hope to see some of you in the class. And yeah. All right. Well, love you. Goodbye.